Alright, this is a 69 VW bus. It's blue if it matters to you. Okay, you don't have to undo this. This is the master cylinder replacement. You don't have to undo the piston. I started to. It's a needless deal to even try to mess with. Don't even mess with it. Just leave that part alone. The first thing you want to do is unhook these two plugs. They just pull right off. I'll show you real quick. This plug right here. See, they just plug right off, and I just hooked them over here on the horn, so they're out of the way. And then the second thing you do, make sure your brake lines come loose. There's two of them right there above them plugs. There's a third one on this side. You can't see it. I ain't got the best video camera, but make sure those will come loose. If they don't come unloose, it's going to be fun to replace this thing. But luckily mine came loose, which I was so praying that they would. You undo those, pull them out of the way. Then there's a canister. Let me get this light over here. Hold on. Okay, see that white thing? That is a canister. Start with the rear. Get you a little bucket or something, stick it underneath here. Push the rear up. It just pops right out. And let it drain into your bucket. And then push the front out. Then you can pull these two bolts out. There's one. Hold on, let me get the light over there. There's the other one. The nuts are on the back side. There's a nut. There's a nut. Pull those off. Then the thing will fall out. This piece right here that I was talking about in the beginning, this piece right here is just a piston. It'll pull right out. So whenever you break it loose, you'll have to shake it a little bit because it's pressed in there. It'll pull right out, and that piston will come out of the end of it. But when you put the new one on, that piston will just slide right inside of it. So you do not have to undo this thing. Do not waste your time undoing it. It'll slide right back in. Then you put your bolts back together, get them snug, and then the next thing, well, actually, whenever it's out, go ahead and install these things on your new master cylinder. These are very important. You gotta have these. They make your brake lights work. Install those on your new master cylinder while it's out of the vehicle. And then you slide everything back together. Tighten these bolts. Then install your brake lines. At least get them started. And then once you get them started, you can press this canister back in. It's a lot easier to put it back in than it is to take it out. Then you put everything together, tighten everything down good and snug, make sure this boot's sliding up. The original boot was over the top of this, which I don't believe that's where it needs to be. I believe it needs to stay right there. So that's your preference, I guess. Make sure you lube everything up. WD-40 that spring a little bit, lube everything up. Spray and wire brush your bolts before you put them back in, and it'll make it a lot easier on you. Put everything back together, fill it up with fluid, and on the very top of this, and whenever you buy your new master cylinder, you'll see a bleeder on the top of this master cylinder. That's what you're going to have to undo. You'll fill up the tank, and then as it's filling up, you're going to bleed the top of this master cylinder to fill this thing up with fluid. You're still going to have to bleed all the brakes around the vehicle, but that's going to keep you from having to bleed it for hours. And it's going to help out big time. And that's pretty much it, man. You bleed all your brakes, get it all up to pressure right, and that's a wrap. See you next time for the next thing I fix on this 69.